Nos encontramos en la parte más importante, creo yo, donde nace todo, que es el technical hall. Estoy con el head brewer, estoy con Olaf. Él tiene a cargo esta planta increíble y ahora vamos a hablar un poquitito acerca de lo que acá sucede. Hi, hello.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Please tell all your name, because to me it's so difficult.
Olaf Morgenroth, so 100% German, and yeah, it's a bit difficult.
Yeah. Okay, you start in a brewery in another country, in another continent.
Yeah. So originally I'm from South Africa. 10 months ago I moved to the north of France, but yes, originally ran and managed a brewery in South Africa for the last 5 years. And now for the last 10 months, I've been in the north of France and at Fermentis Academy, heading up the technical.
You stay here with these babies, and I thought, whoa, my God, stay in this company, in this research place now. Tell about all the things.
So we have a 20 hectoliter Kasper Schulz brew house. From the 20 hectoliter Kasper Schulz brew house, we divide it up into 21 hectoliter fermenters. So at the end of the day, we want to study yeast. We want to look at how the yeast responds to certain environmental factors. And that's basically what we do here. So the idea is to try and keep things as consistent as possible. And then only later on down the line do we change things like temperature or gravity, pitching rates to really understand the yeast we currently have on our market, but also the yeast we are looking at releasing in the near future.
Yes, you have here all the pieces. You have the complete recipe near and so perfect. You can do how many fermentos here?
So we can do about 40 fermentations at a time. That all depends on the beers we're making. So if we're studying lagers, they'll take a little bit longer, but usually we'll do about 30, 40 different fermentations a month. So basically on the left-hand side, we have the mash tun. So that's where the whole process will start. And on the far right, the other kettle, the other tun is a kettle. So something that's quite different here at Fermentis Academy is we don't have a lauter tun. So we use a mash filter instead, which gives us a lot more flexibility in terms of quantity, in terms of style of beers we can make, gravities, alcohol, things like that. So I think the main aspect with this brewery and this brew house is to be as flexible as possible, because we are looking at making everything from a light lager to making everything to a big, heavy barrel-aged stout. So we really need a system that is able to deliver on what we want to make.
And you can play a lot. Yes. You can be fun because you can, I suppose, experiment different things and the result is, wow, we did it.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, it's a team at the end of the day here at Fermentis Academy. So or Fermentis in general. So what's very, very exciting for us is that we get to use yeast, we get to use bacteria that aren't even on the market yet. So we are looking at exploring different flavor profiles, different style of beers. Not always beers, sometimes we do look at other fermented beverages, but what's really exciting is we get to test it out on a commercial system for the first time. So that's very exciting.
Now we talk about 4 fermentations, 4 because then we talk with Gabriela Montandon with the same fermentation. So explain what happened with these 4.
So it was about 2 months ago, we made a non-alcoholic beer. So non-alcoholic beers are very, very popular at the moment in terms of production, but it is just the way the industry is going at the moment. People want to consume less alcohol. They're more conscious about what they drink. So we are spending a lot of time and energy on producing non-alcoholic beers. So we made a non-alcoholic beer using one of our yeast strains, a non-alcoholic or maltose negative yeast strain. that we used a kettle souring bacteria in conjunction with. So it's because of the maltose negative yeast strain we use, it gives it a very kind of a slight sweetness to it. But with the kettle souring bacteria, it balances things out. So it just really makes it a very easy and very kind of light beer. You don't have any of that heavy sweetness from the yeast.
Why 4? Which is the difference 1 to 1? These 4.
So that's a nice thing about the brewery is we get to start off with the same base and we get to slightly tweak each of the fermentations. So that's the idea with the whole brewery is we start off at the same base and then each one we slightly change. So for this example, we wanted to play around with the kettle souring, but also the dry hopping. So we made 4 beers. One we used just LA1 as a primary fermenter. Then we did the same one, but we dry hopped it. Then we took the same base, we soured it, and then we took the same base and we soured it and dry hopped it. So you can really see a full range of flavors and really understand how dry hopping and kettle souring has an influence on the final product.
Perfect. I talk a little more with Gabriela. The smells and the tasting, yeah. How many times you cook here?
So we aiming to brew about 2 to 3 times a month, which on any commercial system, no one brews that's small amount. But for us, it's more about understanding what's happening through all of the processes. We aren't a production brewery, we're not producing a beer under a certain label. We really want to understand the yeast. And, that is the goal at the end of the day, is to better characterize, better understand our yeast so that we're able to communicate that to the brewers or whoever's using the yeast and can make essentially better beer at the end of the day.